Okay.
Everybody ready to go?
Ready to go?
It is 7 o'clock.
Okay. Call the meeting to order. Roll call when you're ready.
Ready.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Here.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Here.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Here.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Here.
and Mayor Robert Flanagan.
Here.
Okay.
Need a motion, a second.
to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
Is there an echo for some reason? Okay, moved and seconded. All in
There's an
favor?
echo.
Aye.
Aye.
All right. And then the past minutes from our meetings. Motion and second for those.
Make a motion, we approve the minutes.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Hey, Liz, can you hold on 1 second?
Yep.
I think somebody has the volume on their computer and their iPad running. Because we're getting echoes.
Yeah, we're getting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute everyone and then you'll just have to unmute yourself to speak and hopefully that'll address the issue. I'm not hearing it, so it's probably me. Hold on a second. Is that better?
I don't hear it when you talk, but everybody else I did.
Yeah. But now I don't
Okay,
hear it.
now it sounds fine.
It was me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, the minutes are approved. So next, Mayor, I think I probably have you muted. Yep. Okay. Yep, sorry about that.
Okay.
Okay. The next item on the agenda, Mayor, is the Arbor Day proclamation. And we do have Becky Wilson from DNR joining us here.
Very good.
Just give her a minute to hop on.
Can't do it. I'm about 15 seconds behind.
Hey, tell Rob to quiet down.
He says his feed is 15 seconds behind,
Oh,
I hear both.
but he hears us maybe go in another room. Hi, Becky, you're sideways.
As are you.
Uh-oh.
That's okay. We know it's Becky.
Okay, hold it. Yeah, sure. Hold on. We're gonna try spinning the camera. Is that better?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. I don't know why the phone wasn't spinning. Thank you for your patience. Is Elizabeth on?
I'm here.
Do I need to make a presentation or are you guys gonna read a proclamation?
I'd like you to do the presentation.
Okay. What's my pleasure to join Mayor and Council this evening to virtually, at least for now, award the City of Frostburg its 6th Tree City USA and I was reflecting on the past year. It's been very busy. A bunch of trees were maintained. But here's the bounty program. Of course, our day celebration last year that we were able to do with the students back here for Frostburg related to the trees. So they definitely deserving of the Tree City US. And not only is this our 6th year, your 6th year, you have received the Growth Award for 3 years in a row now, which means you are going above and beyond the standard, normal standards for the program. So I just want to congratulate you on all your efforts. As you can see, I have the awards materials and for them in person, hopefully at an Arbor Day program in the future. So thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Well, thank you, Becky. We appreciate it very much.
The Shade Tree Commission definitely supports or appreciates all of Becky's support that she offers us over the course of the year. Thanks for joining us, Becky.
Frostburg looks great, you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Mayor, the next item on the agenda is the Census Day proclamation. And we have Mr. David Nedved joining us from Allegheny County.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Hi, David. How are you?
Hello, Mayor. I would like to thank you for the proclamation and recognizing how important the census is. I know I was up there before, but it's been a few months thanks to the pandemic. Just want to let everybody know that the numerators are now out and about. They've been released by the and they're going to be out between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. in your community. They're going to be verifying addresses, doing interviews with people that didn't respond to any previous mailings, conducting manager visits at multi-unit structures, and doing quality control re-interviews. Okay. And you'll be able to identify the census workers by their census bag, their ID badge, and the census issued cellular devices. And the big thing is the census tract, Elizabeth will know the census tracts, but census tract 18 is one of our, right now, unfortunately, is one of our low count areas relatively because of all the rentals, the students not being around. So one of the things we need to do, especially if you're a landlord, is kind of encourage your tenants, even if they're not necessarily in town at the moment, to fill out the census forms that they did get, or they can even go online if they no longer have the form and fill it out. So we want to get those numbers up. And that's the biggest thing I can do is just push that, get those counts up for you guys, because that's important. All the federal funding that's tied to it. And not to sound like an alarmist, because that's certainly not, but one of the ways they're going to be able to know how many people to give vaccines to is they got to have a count of the people in the census area, in the census tracts. That's a good reason right there. But the other things is just all the normal stuff, how to figure out the schools and other federal programs. That's it, Council. Thank you.
Thank you, David, very much. Appreciate you being with us this evening.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor.
Thanks, David.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Okay. All right, now the Mayor and Commissioners reports. Need a motion and second to approve the reports from the different departments for the past month.
I move that we approve the monthly reports of the city departments.
Second.
Okay, moving seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then we have just one public hearing tonight, CSO public hearing. Chris, you with us?
Are we on?
You're on, Chris.
You're on, Chris, all yours.
Okay, I didn't see any picture. Yes, I'd like to report on our CSO monthly report. We're doing very well. We're past the 50% mark on a phase over on Charles Street, College Avenue, moving along pretty well. And lots of rain lately hampered us a little bit. We have designed and are ready to award the bid to actually on the next CSO project, which will be the Stoyer Street project. And we're looking very good on and have the money in hand for the following year. And that would be the Bell Street and Aspinall area, which would complete the phase 9 A, B, and C area. We're really fortunate that we've received grants in the number of 87.5% to these important projects. And we're continuing to reduce our CSO frequency and numbers. So I look forward to continue this program into the future. If there's any questions about the ongoing multi-stage program, and I would be glad to answer it.
Anybody on the council have any questions of Chris?
Nope.
Okay, good. Things are looking good, Chris.
Good
Thank you
work.
very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to new business, resolution 2020-25. Whenever you're ready, Liz, take your time.
Chris is going to do this one, Mayor.
Okay, up seat. Go ahead, Chris, all yours.
Yes. As you know, the city has a paving program every year to improve our streets. And this year we have resolution 2025. And I'd like the mayor and council to entertain it. It's resolution 2025-2020-25 is a resolution of the city of Frostburg approving a contract for paving of certain streets. Whereas the city of Frostburg's budget and plans for the repair and paving of certain city streets each year. Whereas the commissioner of Public Works, the director of Public Works, and the street department has assessed the city streets and advised for bids from advertised for bids from qualified contractors for the preparation and paving of certain streets for the 2020 paving program. I recommend and request the council, mayor and council of the city of Frostburg to authorize award of a contract to the lowest and most responsible bidder determined at the bid opening scheduled for July 30th, 2020 for the paving, milling, and striping of various streets. This work will be completed and shall be limited to the funds included in the fiscal year 2021 budget.
Okay.
Mayor, at this time, Chris or I could answer any questions that you have. And then we'd ask for a motion in a second. And I do have one public comment that was received on this matter.
Okay. Let me motion a second first.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2020-25.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded. What public comment do you have, Liz?
The public comment is from Lisa Van Houten, and her questions regarding this resolution include: how much money is set aside for repaving? Does this repaving include cutting out a section of the road, removing the patches of multiple applications of patching, prepping the ground surface for proper drainage, repaving, sealing the new pavement to the existing pavement to reduce salt infiltration during winter? And if the above repaving process is followed, how many square feet of pavement will be properly replaced? I can answer the first question. At this point in time, we're allocating about $95,000 to repaving in this year's budget. And then I'd ask Chris to address the remainder of the questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Liz. Chris?
Yes, thank you, Liz. Thank you, Mayor. Yes, we do cut out sections of the road that need improved before we pave. The amount of paving we're doing this year is about 1,000 tons of paving. And if you would divide 1,000 by or multiply it times 10, you would get approximately the square yardage of paving we're doing. There's lots of need in the city of Frostburg, as there is in any city, and we're trying to pick out the most needy streets. Our Commissioner of Public Works is also planning to do a lot of patching, which would include milling out bad areas and repaving them properly and making sure the sub base is good. That is in excess or aside of what we're doing with the paving program with the annual contract. Drainage is always an important part of maintaining roadways, keeping the water out from under the roadways as possible, makes them last longer, and we always strive to do that. We always strive to control the surface runoff from rains and make it go to the proper area, catch basin, storm sewer, etc. Sealing is not a part of the paving program because I don't know of any city or anybody that seals a whole street. Now, a lot of parking areas or shopping centers may do that, or your driveway, but we do seal the seams. And that's part of the requirement of the contractor to seal all the seams of the new paving project to try to minimize the water getting under the pavement. I think that's the answer to her questions. I invite her to give me a call because I think she knows how to get a hold of me if she has any other further comment or has any further questions or something I did not answer to her understanding.
Very good. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate the explanation. We have a motion second on the floor. Any other comments?
Mayor, may I just do a roll call vote for good record keeping in the virtual meeting?
Sure.
Thank you. Let me know when you're ready if there's no additional comments.
Everybody good?
Mhm.
Good. Okay. Go ahead,
Okay.
Liz.
Thanks. Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm. All right. Next resolution is 2020-26. Proposal for engineering and design services.
I have, excuse me, I have that one also, Mayor.
Very good.
Basically, I briefed on it, and it is about our project that is to construct at least a year away, but we have received the funds for it, so we need to get it designed. Specs Engineering's been designing our projects and knows the hydrology and hydraulics of our town very well, and it's a continuation of what they've been doing for years. So Resolution 2020-26 is a resolution of the City of Frostburg approving a contract for design services for CSO project Phase 9C, the Bell Street Corridor. Whereas the City of Frostburg undertaking a 20-year, $25 million commitment to eliminate the combined sewer overflows as required by a court order and MDE. And whereas the city of request for funding the construction of Phase 9C is included in the state fiscal year 2021 budget with a total project cost of $1,582,500, and Maryland Department of Environment grant award is in the amount of $1,384,688. And whereas Specs Consulting Engineers have been providing design services for the city CSO project and has provided a proposal for this Phase 9C project. I recommend and request the Mayor and Council of the City of Frostburg approve the contract with Specs Consulting Engineers and Surveyors for the CSO Phase 9C at a cost for design and bidding services of $42,020 and post-construction services of $3,180 and other considerations as detailed in the proposal dated July 8th, 2020. Therefore, I request approval of this resolution 2020-26.
Okay, very good. Thank you, Chris. Was there any public comment on that, Liz?
No, there's not.
Okay, all right. We have a motion, a second on the floor. Whenever you want to do roll call vote.
I'll make a motion that we approve resolution 2020-26.
Second.
Okay. Moving second and roll call whenever you're ready, Liz.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Robert Flanagan.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay. Turn the microphone over here. Resolution 2027. Approval of the annual report submitted to the Maryland Department of Planning. LJ, you're on.
Good evening. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Thank you, Administrator Stallman. Before you, I have prepared an annual report for the Maryland Department of Planning. This is an annual report for the calendar year of 2019. Basically, what we're doing in this report is alerting the Maryland Department of Planning to how many residential permits we've issued in the year of 2019. We've issued a total number of 6 residential permits. 3 of them are in the Pritchard Farms subdivision. 1 is in Braddock Heights, Sandspring subdivision. 1 was at 315 Bernard Street, and the last was at 222 Braddock Road. There are also a series of questions that we answer to the Department of Planning, and one of the most important is number 5. Are there any issues that planning can assist you with in 2020? So as you're aware, I'm sure in 2021, we are due for an updated comprehensive plan, including a housing element, which will be a new element to our current plan. So yes, we will require assistance in updating that, and I have noted that as such. Last night at the regular Planning Commission meeting, the Planning Commission unanimously voted to approve this report and submit it to you, the Mayor and Council, and then based on your approval, submit it to the Maryland Department of Planning. So if you would approve, we would ask for a motion and a second to approve this resolution, and we'll submit to the MDP.
Okay, very good.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-27.
Second.
Okay. Moving second. Is there any public comment on this, Liz?
No.
Roll call vote when you're ready.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes. Moving forward to resolution 2020-28, appointment of Robert Reppan to a 3-year term on the Frostburg Historic District Commission. LJ?
Thank you very much. As we discussed in your work session meeting, Mr. Robert Reppan has served the Historic District Commission with distinction and is willing to serve for another 3-year term. Staff recommends that he be reappointed, and just would like to relate that he brings a strong background in historic preservation and expertise to the commission, and our community certainly benefits from his service and volunteerism. If there are any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion and a second to reappoint Mr. Robert Repan. It should be noted also that the mayor and council have the authority to appoint individuals of their choice to the board.
Thank you.
I move we approve resolution 2020-28 to appoint Rob Repan to another term of this historic commission.
I'll
Second.
second.
Okay, moving to second. Any public comment?
No, sir.
All right, very good. Then all in favor by roll call.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes,
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes. Okay. Resolution 2020-29, amending the fee schedule, update certain electrical inspections. LJ again.
Thank you, Mayor. Our contracted inspector for permits, Mr. Cliff Bennett of Megco Inspections, has noted to us that as of August 1st, 2020, the cost for a residential 100 or 200 amp electric service inspection will be increased to $90 from $75. The cost for a 400 amp electric service will be $125. Further, a generator transfer switch will be $25 in addition to the service cost. This impacts our fee schedule in the following manner. Under residential inspection fees, the electric service 100 to 200 amp will be increased from $75 to $90. And under commercial and multi-family permit fees, electric service 100 to 200 amp will be increased from $75 to $90. And 400 amp will be starting at $125 per service. And transfer switch will be listed as $25 in addition to the service cost. Mr. Bennett has not increased his fees in over 5 years. And this increase is coming as a result of the cost of doing business. So respectfully, we request a motion and a second to approve that resolution if you see fit.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-29.
Second.
Okay, moving to second. Any public comment?
No, sir.
Hearing none. All in favor by roll call.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth, Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
sorry, yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you, LJ. Appreciate it. Resolution 2020-30, approved contract with Enterprise Fleet Management for the lease of certain city vehicles. Yes.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is something that we've been discussing for a half a year now. As you know, the city fleet vehicle is generally old. And the actual age of our light and medium duty fleet is over 12 years old. And Enterprise Fleet Management offers a government contract price for fleet management. And the city has worked with staff from Enterprise Fleet earlier this year and then more recently, examining if this makes sense for the city. And based on information that we've evaluated with Enterprise, it looks like not only would going with fleet management give the city the opportunity to have newer vehicles and safer vehicles. These vehicles would be more efficient and have significantly less maintenance costs and therefore save us money. This contract is only obligating the mayor and council to lease the first year's worth of vehicles, which is a total of 8 vehicles, 7 which would be delivered in this current fiscal year, and 1 that is not expected to be delivered until after July 1 of next fiscal year, or 2021, because of some lead times due to disruptions in the automotive industry. And here is the information about the vehicle pricing and terms. For the first year lease costs, it would be a total of $32,966. The way in which Enterprise recommends that their fleet program work is that we would continue to enroll on an annual basis with Enterprise each year. And in 5 years, our entire fleet would be replaced. And instead of walking away at that time with no vehicle older than 5 years, the real money savings is achieved by, after that 5 years, we replace the 5-year-old vehicles. They still have value, unlike the typical city vehicles that we sell now that are generally headed for the scrapyard. These vehicles still have value. And when Enterprise sells those vehicles for the city, that equity is then applied to a new replacement vehicle. So we continue to have a fleet of safe vehicles with the newest technology that are efficient, that are not incurring a lot of maintenance costs. You know, when originally looking at this, I really didn't think it would make sense for the city because of our small size of fleet. But Enterprise has government contracts from large cities like Rockville in Maryland who provided me with some information, as well as smaller communities like Brunswick and or Williamsport, one of those 2 communities in Washington County. And they're both relatively new to the program, and but have been very pleased so far. And their expectation is they don't expect to spend any more money, but they are optimistic that they will save money. If we were to continue with the program as presented by Enterprise over a 10-year period, it's expected that if the city continued to allocate budget funds each year to purchase approximately 2 new vehicles and then continue to maintain the aging fleet, that over a 10-year period, the city would save approximately $200,000.
Very good.
The cost for this year is significantly lower because of the lead times on some of the vehicles, and you only pay for the vehicles while you have them. So this is a number much higher than this was actually budgeted. And based on current revenue projections, Elaine and I feel comfortable that this is affordable in this coming year. We do have 2 of the trucks slated for replacement in the street department are dead or on their last legs. And I know there's a police vehicle or 2 that is on its last legs as well. So another nice thing, as we've just gone through a very difficult budget session, is that new vehicles tend to be cut every year when there is a difficult budget year. When you're balancing different priorities, new vehicles in the city of Frostburg's history is typically one of the first things to get cut. By going with Enterprise with a longer term mindset, it becomes a fixed expense that's programmatic, and it almost it takes care of itself, and something that we won't need to consider and figure out and prioritize on an annual basis after a few years and our fleet's updated. So I'd like to answer any questions that you have at this point. And there is one public comment that I would like to read into the record before doing the roll call vote.
I can tell you, Liz, that we have at least 3 vehicles that are over 15 years old in the police department. One sitting behind the police station now that will cost between $4,000 and $5,000 to fix. So it's kind of ridiculous to put that kind of money into the vehicle when we can do this.
I think also it will save all the time that people spend trying to find a new used vehicle that would fit within the budget. And then you don't have to travel to Ohio to pick it up or whatever.
That's a fun trip, though.
You did enjoy that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
Chief,
we can't get that vehicle, from Enterprise. The plow
Yeah,
truck.
okay.
Chief Costello and I have had conversations just with Enterprise. We will have someone that we work with that manages our fleet, and finding a vehicle to meet specifications and go through buying it off of the state vendor on the state bid list and doing those wait times, it's an effort. And the way that we have worked with all of the commissioners' input is that these vehicles will come equipped the way that we want them to be equipped and move forward. I did want to note, Michael Cohen does have copies of these documents, the city attorney, and I did ask him to review them because there is a lot of language here, and although I've reviewed them all, I don't purport to be an attorney, and so he's reviewing those in your best interest. And of course, I wouldn't ask you to sign the contract until he gave it the blessing as well.
Do we want to make a motion in a second?
I'll make a
I make-
motion to approve resolution 2020-30.
Second.
Okay, moving second, public comment, Liz?
Lisa Van Houten asks, how will this contract affect the city's insurance and liability, both automotive and personal? If there is an incident that results in the vehicle needing repair or permanently inoperable, who pays and how is that payment determined? How much will this lease cost? The city is insured with Legit, or the local government insurance trust, which is a pool type of insurance. And we did inquire about this, and the leased vehicles do not affect our insurance rates. And possibly, hopefully, having newer, safer vehicles could reduce those rates. They'll be equipped with backup cameras and things like that. Also, if there's an accident, or anything that would cause damage to the vehicle, our insurance would pay for it. If the vehicle was totaled, our insurance would pay us the totaled, I forget the insurance term, but the value deemed for that totaled vehicle to replace it at that age. And then Enterprise could help us source a used vehicle that would meet within that budget parameter. And how much will this lease cost? For the vehicles that we are considering right now, the annual cost for the first year is the $32,966.
Okay, very good, very good. Anyone else from council have anything? If not, vote when you're ready, Liz.
Commissioner Donnie Carter,
Yes.
Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
Yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right. Moving along, resolution 2020-31. This would be approval change orders number 9 and 10 to Daystar Builders for the Frostburg Municipal Center project.
Sure. Thank you, Mayor. 2 change orders for your consideration with that project. As I discussed in work session, the dispatchers area been determined that it would be best to switch the spec'd out carpet to luxury vinyl tile due to the foot traffic in that room. And that change order would be in the amount of $694.56. And then also a stormwater inlet was found to be damaged in the front area to be landscaped, and that needs to be removed and replaced. And a concrete inlet was determined to be the best solution, and that work to the excavating contractor is a total of $3,937.50. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Otherwise, I'd ask for a motion second and roll call vote on resolution 2020-31.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2020-31.
Second,
Okay, moving second. Was there any public comment?
No, sir.
Okay, then all in favor by roll call vote?
Donnie Carter,
Yes.
sorry, Commissioner Nina Forsyth,
Yes.
Commissioner Kevin Grove,
yes.
Commissioner Adam Ritchie,
Yes.
and Mayor Bob Flanagan.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, moving down. Report of the Frostburg Police Department. Nick, you with us?
Yes, sir, Mayor, Commissioners, good evening, everybody. Thank you. Just have a short report for you for the police department for the month of June 2020. We had 732 incidents logged, and that's compared to 672 incidents logged in the month of June 2019. And this was actually prepared just a few hours before the end of June 30th, so there may have been a little increase there since this report. If you look down through the report, we had a particularly busy month of June. We had 28 arrests of various types for adults, and that's compared to 16 last June. And we also had 2 juvenile arrests and 10 motor vehicle crashes. So we certainly saw an increase in activity as a whole throughout the month of June, and we were certainly busier than we had been when the things were really shut down and quiet. Just a couple of quick notes. We used just under $500 in funding from the Maryland State Highway Office, which was a grant to do cell phone enforcement and distracted driving enforcement. We were very pleased with that. We periodically get public complaints about people texting and driving and that sort of thing. And the nice thing about those sorts of grants is they're for specific and concentrated enforcement. So an officer comes in on their off day or stays over and works extra specifically to deal with those issues. So we appreciated that opportunity. And as you know, we have other grants like that for different things. We have grants that focus on drug and opioid activities. In the past, we've had grants that focused on underage drinking. We've had grants that have provided additional police officers for school security. So there were different things out there through different state and other entities, and that was a good opportunity to address one particular issue. Our community policing has unfortunately slowed in recent months due to, again, the limitations on gatherings and those sorts of things. So we were very disappointed to not be able to do Lemonade with the Law during Pirates Ahoy in person. But if any of you watched the video of Pirates Ahoy that they put out that day, Commissioner Grove and I had the terrific pleasure of recording a video and doing a virtual Lemonade with the Law. So when we did that, we did it at 37 Broadway in the parking lot and tried to draw some attention to the new City Hall offices and the new police station coming up. So that was fun. We enjoyed doing that, and we're glad to be able to make it work. I think that's all that I have. I'd certainly be glad to answer any questions that you may have, or I can elaborate further. But other than that, that would conclude my report.
Anyone have anything for the chief?
Nope.
All right, Chief, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Okay. And moving down to open public comment. Liz, I believe you have a couple things.
Yes, I do. This doing audio comment is new to me, so I'm going to start playing this and then just tell me if you can hear. This is Will Coburn. speaking. Were you able to hear that?
No.
No.
Okay. All right, let me change one setting quickly here. I'm going to mute everyone because that's when that feedback was happening.
Okay.
So give me.
Frostburg for 19 years. My name is Will Coburn, and I have been a resident.
Can you hear that?
Frostburg for 19 years. I am speaking out because of the lack of enforcement of masks being worn in the Frostburg community. Elected members of the Frostburg City Council, I call on you to enforce the use of face coverings within our community to help slow the spread of this deadly virus. As we know, this virus impacts every gender, every race, every age, and stops for no one. Its job as a virus is to infect and spread to as many people as it can. I personally have severe asthma, which causes me to have on a good day 50 to 60% breathing capacity. This, along with other health conditions, places me at a higher risk than the average person for contracting COVID-19. However, the excuse of individuals saying that they cannot breathe with a mask on is a lousy excuse and is inaccurate. I personally wear a mask when I walk, and I wear 2 masks and a face shield if I must enter any business, and I have severe asthma. This is not just for my own protection, but for the protection of my community, which I care and fight for on a daily basis. This is ultimately my main reason for speaking out tonight. Just last night, I entered an establishment located on Main Street to pick up my takeout. Masks were not worn properly by the waitstaff, and no patrons of this business were wearing masks, nor were they asked to do so. This business had 0 signage posted stating that masks must be worn to enter this place of business. This in itself is a violation of Governor Hogan's mask policy, which states that if a person who knowingly and willfully violates the order is guilty of a misdemeanor and on conviction is subject to imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or a fine not exceeding $5,000, or both. Many, but not all businesses enforce mask wearing or social distancing, which, once again, is in violation of Governor Hogan's ordinance. Lorenzo's Bakery, along with Clatter, Wholesome Harvest, and Eastern Express, have all taken the most precautions, and therefore, I feel safe stepping into these places of business. Sadly, most of my favorite restaurants that I would love to help out in these troubling economic times, I can't, because I do not feel comfortable entering due to the lack of masks being worn, and honestly, due to the lack of care many of these businesses show to the community because they do not enforce the wearing of masks. So what can you do as a Frostburg City Council member? When a business does not put the safety of the community as its main focus, this is when local officials must step in and enforce the state of Maryland's mask policy. Frostburg City officials do have the right and the responsibility to require masks under Governor Hogan's order, and the City of Frostburg must enforce and mandate that businesses take all the proper precautions that Governor Hogan and scientists have stated work to slow the spread of the deadly virus. I hope that the City Council understands what is at risk when masks are not worn and social distancing is not practiced. More community members are placed at risk and many may die. Frostburg City Police has the duty of protecting this great Mountain Maryland community and must step up to the plate and abandon the good old buddy system and issue citations to businesses and individuals who are in blatant violation of the mask ordinance. This might mean issuing a citation to a local business owner or even a friend who violates the law in a local business by failing to wear a face mask. But this is what it's going to take to slow the spread and wake this community up and realize that just because we live in the mountains doesn't mean this virus won't spread in the mountains, because it already has, and it will continue to if we do not wear masks. Finally, if mask policies are not enforced by the City Council, Frostburg City Police, and other local community agencies, the deaths and infections are in your hands. Thank you. My name is Will Coburn, and I...
Okay. Thanks for your patience with me in figuring out how to do all of this. Now I have two folks that wanted to do a call-in option. So I'm going to mute myself, get them online, and then I'll bring them into the meeting by phone, okay?
Your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 765426185 is not available. At the tone, your call has been forwarded to an automatic voice message system. 30125469093 is not available. At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press.
Okay. I was unsuccessful in contacting the two people that wanted to speak via my computer. So now I'm going to try it via the old-fashioned phone here at City Hall and speakerphone. So give me just another moment, please. Okay. On the line, I have Patricia Henley, and she would like to offer public comment. If you could just nod your head or something when she starts talking to indicate that you can hear her, I'd appreciate it. Yep. Okay, Patricia, they can't hear, they can't. Let me try and get my microphone closer to the Luckily, they can't see my face right now.
When high tech fails.
Okay. All right. Do you want to try again?
Sure. I want to support Will's request that city council and law enforcement make sure that everyone in Frostburg adheres to the state regulations as they stand now about mask wearing. My name is Patricia Henley, and I live at 51 South Water Street. I'm 73 years old. I'm in a high-risk group. I've played by the rules, sequestering myself since the end of February. I leave my house to walk my dog or go to the pharmacy. My groceries are delivered. I miss seeing friends, going to social events, visiting my grandkids, and I had every hope that by now we would be looking at the virus in the rearview mirror. But as you know, it's a storm right in front of us as a nation and possibly here in this remote corner of Maryland. So far, Frostburg has gotten off easy. It may feel to some like it can't happen here, but I'm concerned about what will happen when university students descend upon the city. I had some communication last week with Jeff Graham, Associate Vice President for Student Affairs. He laid out the plans the university has for training the students to socially distance, wear masks indoors or in the presence of others, keep large gatherings to a minimum. Students will be asked to agree with a social compact that stipulates their commitment to cooperate with public health recommendations. He went on to say, quote, college students are continuing to develop cognitively and seek autonomy, unquote. I read that as they break the rules. And the university expects there to be need for ongoing education and corrective action to ensure compliance. I was a college student in the long ago, and I taught at Purdue University for 26 years and lived among college students. I am keenly aware of how little it takes for young people to rationalize their behavior and to turn on a dime away from social contracts of all kinds, unspoken and spoken. As Jeff Graham said, they are still developing cognitively. If masks are not mandatory all over Frostburg, and if the mandate to wear masks is not enforced in a way that has teeth, we will not set a good example for returning FSU students. Many will be arriving here having spent the summer in places with high rates of infection. If they know it is mandatory while off campus, as well as on, and they see people being fined for not wearing masks, or they see their favorite eateries being fined, they will catch on. The age demographics of students suggest that the majority of them who get infected with COVID-19 will be either asymptomatic or have mild symptoms. Their primary risk is not with poor outcomes, but rather for transmitting the virus to others, particularly those over 65 or those with underlying health conditions. People like Will, people like me. According to USA Today, infections in Germany were cut by 40% because people accepted the need for masks. We need new habits to cope with health issues. We cut out smoking indoors. We require the use of seatbelts. This is no different. If the police don't know where to start, try the Facebook group Comfort Zone. People are posting every day about which businesses are operating safely and which ones are sloppy or completely ignoring the need for masks. One more thing. The last thing I would ever want is for students to be blamed if our infections go up. We all have to work together to protect each other, students, university personnel, and Frostburg citizens. It starts with council's leadership. We can't wish the virus away or ignore it. Please do the right thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Patricia.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, if you could just give me one more minute to make one more phone call. Okay, Mayor and Council, Paul Maxey is on the line now.
Thank you, City Council members, Mayor Flanagan, and City Administrator Stallman. My name is Paul Maxey. I've lived here for almost 10 years and own a small internet-based company. It helps bring in money from outside the area to pay taxes, utilities, and support local businesses. I'm calling today because I also want to voice support for reaffirming and enforcing Governor Hogan's executive order requiring face coverings in public spaces and businesses in the city and hopefully the county. I think Governor Hogan's leadership and early action helped slow the spread of COVID in our state and likely saved lives. The governor received national recognition for our state's handling of the crisis, and Maryland helped set an example for the rest of the country as one of the states that took early action. I think Frostburg could do the same by setting an example for the rest of the county and surrounding communities, especially with a potential second spike. Other communities around the state have passed similar local resolutions and received positive recognition. They are helping our state's overall performance against COVID, which has been decent compared to other states. We should be proud of that and work to maintain it. Face coverings are widely accepted to slow or help prevent the spread of COVID, and many are already adhering to the state policy. Reaffirming the governor's order will help push us closer to universal adherence and hopefully get back to normal sooner. If we as a community reaffirm face covering requirements as outlined by the state, we can help bring confidence back into visiting local businesses. Every bit helps. Sometimes people need a reminder, and local support might be more respected than what comes from the governor. Passing a local resolution would help remind our community that this is still an ongoing issue and still required by the governor's order from April. I think passing a resolution like this wouldn't hurt, and it might actually help bring wider confidence back to shopping at local businesses and will make our community stronger and safer. And that's all I had to say. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Okay, I believe that I ended the sharing of the audio, so if you want to unmute yourself at any point, that should be fine. And then we do have one more public comment that was submitted from Cassie Conklin in writing. I'll go ahead and read this. Dear Ms. Stallman, Mayor and Council, Governor Larry Hogan issued an executive order on April 15th, 2020, which states that all businesses must post signage at the entrance advising customers about the requirement to wear face coverings, and has further required that face coverings be worn when visiting retail establishments. We, the people of Allegheny County, concerned for the safety and well-being of all residents, are urging the Allegheny County Commissioners, the City of Cumberland Mayor and City Council, as well as the Frostburg Mayor and Council, to pass a resolution upholding and enforcing the current executive order. As you may recognize, this effort hopes to prevent and reduce the spread of and suppress COVID-19 in and around retail establishments and/or food service establishments, which may include, without limitation, additional requirements for social distancing, cleaning, and disinfection at retail establishments and/or food service establishments. Governor Hogan's executive order is already in place and applies to Allegheny County and its municipalities. However, your efforts would solidify the order locally. Further, city and county officials, as well as the Allegheny County Health Department, should commit to maintaining public health and reducing risk of infection and death with your own orders. enforcing the wearing of face coverings in all businesses, including but not limited to retail and food service establishments and in common public spaces, including outdoors such as around public pools, farmers markets, and in parks, at places of congregation, including those which are state-owned. As ordered by the Governor of Maryland, local officials should commit to the order, which states each law enforcement officer of the state or political subdivision shall executive and enforce this order. Further, a person who knowingly and willfully violates this order is guilty of a misdemeanor and on a conviction is subject to imprisonment not exceeding 1 year or a fine not exceeding $5,000 or both. Sheriff's deputies and city police should all be actively enforcing this as ordered by the Governor of Maryland, and all businesses should be notified and required to also implement mandatory face coverings for employees and customers. One among you, Commissioner Forsyth, is a signatory on this petition and expressed the following. As for a Frostburg City Council member, I am in favor of such a resolution in the comment section of the petition. Please find the petition names. Represented among them are members of Frostburg State University staff and faculty, business owners, and local farmers. We request that you act swiftly and offer your unequivocal support of this effort by passing a resolution.
Okay. Is everybody back on?
I believe so.
Yeah. Well, first, Chief, do you have any comments?
Thank you, Mayor. I appreciate the input from the community immensely. I mean, I think one of the most important things in law enforcement is not only knowing the law and knowing what Governor Hogan has issued in terms of his order, but also getting some feedback from the public about the enforcement in the local community, what people want to see, where there are areas maybe we could take another look at or address. What we did very early on with the mask enforcement was we talked in our local law enforcement entities, talked the sheriff and the state police, Cumberland City, and us about how we were going to enforce the order when it first came into effect. And over time, we've also participated in webinars from the Maryland State Police COVID Operations Center to really get some consistency across the state, to get some information sharing, and so that we have good information about what we're enforcing and how we should be doing it. So one of the primary things that has been impressed upon us is to educate people by enforced by educating people. And what that means is if we see a violation, if somebody calls us for a violation, we're going to respond and we're going to address it. If it's not particularly egregious, or it's something maybe the person claims they didn't know, maybe they should have known, that would be a situation where the police would say, hey, you need to wear a mask or you need to leave. What we were concerned about early on was we wanted the business owners to notify customers that came in to put a mask on or leave. We had hoped that would work as a good enforcement mechanism. And I think in many respects it has. Obviously, if the businesses themselves aren't complying, that's a problem. It wouldn't make sense that they're going to enforce it if they're not doing it themselves. I think what I would urge people primarily to know is there are potential criminal penalties for violating the governor's order. There is some decision-making in law enforcement about how to enforce it under a particular set of facts and particular circumstances. The biggest single thing I would ask anyone to know is if you witness a violation or have concerns, please call us, and then we can respond. We can check the business, or we can talk to the people who are there, and we can address it at the time. One of the hardest things to do later is to sometimes hear stories after the fact and never have had the opportunity to be there firsthand, to talk to the complainant, to witness what was going on, and so forth. So I would urge people to call us. Alternatively, the health department also is a resource for dealing with these issues. They have some enforcement capabilities. They're also a good resource, I think, for structural things within a business, like if maybe the staff isn't wearing the masks and maybe they need some good guidance or a little pushing to do things the right way. The police can address something, in the act pretty well, but over the long term, I think the health department would be a very good resource there. So in short, really in summary, we're certainly glad to address these issues. I certainly appreciate the feedback from our community members. I would again urge everyone to please call us with any concerns so that we can respond and check it out. And again, if we see something that needs referred to the health department, we can do that too. So the information is what's most valuable initially. That call, hey, I'm seeing this problem. I'd like you to come down and take a look at it. Or, you know, I just saw this happen. I'd like you to come down. That's probably the single most helpful thing to our enforcement efforts.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Mayor.
Anyone else in the council have anything?
Yeah, it seems like we don't really have to do it. We're not enacting a new law. What we're doing, at least what we've been requested to do, is publicly say that, yeah, this is what the law is, this is what the governor's mandate is, and this is what we will enforce in our city, and outline, you know, exactly what the governor's mandate consists of. And as the chief said, that people can call if there is a violation, or if they get attacked, which happened at least once that I know of. So I think, you know, letting business, kind of re-emphasizing, letting business owners know they need to have a sign out front that to enter the business, any interactions with people, you know, when they're not social distancing, they need to wear the mask. And, you know, and then, you know, all the things that are in the governor's mandate, just outline it very clearly and say that it will be enforced in our city. In a way, actually, as a reminder too, at the Frostburg City Farmers Market, for a while, there were a bunch of complaints saying that, you know, some of the vendors aren't wearing masks anymore. And so I reached out to Jeanette, the manager, and I said, can you remind the vendors and tell them there have been complaints? And, you know, I wouldn't want people to stop coming because they're not wearing masks. So the next week, I went and everybody was masked, and the following week as well. So I just think we need these periodic reminders that, yeah, we're still dealing with this thing. It's not gone away. You know, we might not have personally known anybody who's been affected, but, you know, if we don't stay vigilant, then we might personally know somebody who's been hit hard.
Very good. Thank you, Neil. Anyone else?
So would this require a resolution to just, or a statement? I'm not quite sure exactly, you know, what the best way is to go about this.
I think in terms, if you wanted to do a resolution, I don't think you would have to vote on the resolution in a public meeting, and I don't think I can swing over to my other computer and whip one up real quick. Mm-hmm. If you wanted to do a statement that to that same effect, and you agree to that now, I don't think that it will need formal action. There have been some Facebook comments coming through about maybe some other incentive ideas or carrot approaches rather than stick approaches. So that, you know, is some other things that we could explore.
There is one that I heard of. Sorry. There's one that I heard of. Go ahead, Elizabeth.
I look to other communities as well.
Yeah, there's one that I heard of that seemed to be promising, which is the city can issue something that businesses can put out front saying that they are compliant with the governor's mandate, and, you know, kind of outlining those things. And that would assure customers that they are compliant. And if a customer then goes in and sees that they're not, we take away that sign or whatever. So there's an incentive, because I don't know how many businesses realize all the talk that's going on, like in the Comfort Zone Facebook site. People are they're giving information to each other. I've gone into this business and I saw, you know, they were wearing their masks below their nose, or they rolled their eyes and just kept the mask on the chin or whatever. And then a lot of people say, well, I'm not going there. And so, but if businesses don't realize that they're losing customers because of they're not complying, then that's not effective. Whereas a sign saying this is a compliant business, and then the sign gets taken away if they're not, that might be more effective.
I mean, I think a statement, encouraging whatever, however we say it, out to the public is warranted. I mean, I get it, and it's hard being a business owner in this situation. Like I said, I mean, we're trying our best. I worry for my staff a lot of times. Do people walk through our business without mask on? Yes, they do sometimes. And it's a very, very fine line you got to walk. I mean, they're walking to a table to sit down to take the mask off. Are you going to confront them? Because along the same lines, the people that are super concerned about this, you're alienating them. I understand where you're coming from, Nina, but looking at the other side, we're alienating those people too. And
you're alienating.
I just don't want to go as far as saying that we're coming after you. We're going to shut you down if you're not compliant. I mean, please comply. Do your best to comply. And I mean, I get that. I understand that. And I mean, I don't know. I just worry that it's tough right now as a business owner. There are businesses that aren't doing any, like, there are businesses that still aren't even open because of this. And I mean, I don't know how those people are surviving, but encouraging people to comply, I think, maybe going out and talking to these businesses. I get it. Maybe have, and I know Nick's staff's super busy, but just have them go out and say hello and say, hey, we're really encouraging you to do this. I think that would help out in a lot of places. And it's not, we have to go out and say, hey, we're going to hit you with a $5,000 fine if we come back in here. It's just, hey, we really believe in this, and we really want you to take care of this. And let's all work together and get through this, is I guess what I'm trying to say.
I think the $5,000 fine is more for those who are repeat offenders, those who don't make any steps to follow the mandate. I think, though, in a way, this protects businesses because they can say, it's not me, it's the mandate. I'm not the bad guy here. I have to follow this. And then if somebody gets belligerent, then you can call the chief.
Anyone else? Yeah, I think we all support this order, and it's a good order, and it will help. But it is a tough situation for everybody, especially people that do have businesses. And I think it'd be more to encourage people to do it and not look at it so much as the fine and stuff like that. And although the $5,000 fine may be for second, third offenders, it can also be for that first offender if that's the way the judge feels. So I mean, you're talking about some pretty steep stuff. And with the comfort zone, and I understand, I look at that pretty regularly. As a matter of fact, I'm a member of it. And it's kind of like people who put comments in at a restaurant. Sometimes you wonder if the people were in the same place. because one will say nobody had mask on and the other one will say everybody had mask on. So don't think we can depend on a Facebook page to how we control this.
Yeah, I think I think that's the weakness of a Facebook page like that. It's more kind of like what we were talking about, reminding the businesses, putting out a statement at the very least. If we don't want to do a resolution, we should do something very public, saying that these are the governor's orders. This is what we, this is what you should, it's not we encourage you, it's this is what you should do. These are his orders. This is what you should do.
Cool.
And violators can be fined. So, please pay attention. There are vulnerable people in our community.
Nick, do you think you have an opportunity with your folks to maybe make a round on our businesses in the next week or two?
Yes, sir. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I think that's really been the policing philosophy we've wanted to approach this with, is through education. I mean, let people know, hey, you've got to do this, but take the educational step first and try to address it that way and prevent problems before they become a real problem.
Well, I know you just said about community policing. I mean, this can very much be a great community policing tool, and I know it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So maybe the chance to do that. I know, again, like I said, I know the folks get busy and get tied up on things. I mean, we had a thunderstorm tonight, and you had a serious accident and things like that. But maybe an hour or two a day to try to make a round, east-west. I think that would be very helpful.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
Adam, you have anything?
No, I think that's a great idea. Just getting out and making sure, everybody's doing the best that they can do.
I don't think any of us have a problem with basically a statement of support for Governor Hogan. Are we all good on that?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
The Princess has a really good sign in front of their door saying, how they're following the order. And that might be like an example that we can show other businesses. I think the Frostburg Fiber Depot also I haven't been there for a little while, but I think they had a good one. So, this is what you can do.
Right. Well, maybe we can see if we can help facilitate getting those out to everyone that don't have them. Maybe Nick, if you could do that as a little survey item for us, and then we could follow up with those people.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, so we'll start with the soft approach, and if we need to, we'll lower the hammer.
Right. Well, I mean, you see, I understand where Donnie's going and what Kevin had to say and stuff. And again, it's really, really tough for business. There's so many folks that are hurting. I mean, we're in business too, and this has changed the whole dynamic of everything for everyone.
Yeah.
And so,
well, I've seen businesses do it really well, so
right.
I know it's possible.
Right. But there's some businesses that can't do anything right now because of their space requirements and so on and so forth. So I think it's more than just retail and restaurants. And they say there's a lot of invisible business here in Frostburg that again, being you're behind the scenes, you're not out in the public eye as much as a lot of the restaurants are. But I don't think any of us have an issue with the statement of the mayor and council that we're in full support of Governor Hogan and all his good efforts.
Do we put that out like on the paper and our Facebook site and the website, that sort of thing?
Well, hopefully Brandon will be reaching out to us from CTN.
Okay.
He usually covers us pretty well.
Right,
so,
yes.
Since I just mentioned him, I'm sure he will.
Shout out to Brandon.
Well, maybe if we do this letter, I don't know if Chief's agreeable to this or not, but maybe he could take some copies of it with him and
that's
and
good.
pass it out.
Yes.
Okay.
Good idea.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
That sounds good.
Liz, do you have anything else for us?
If you wanted to equip the chief with some signs as well for businesses that need new ones, I know it's hard, the signs wear out and fall down after a time, and we could have them printed professionally that they're on a nicer stock paper and look maybe more attractive, that businesses could put those up, and Nick could have a pile of those for his guys and gals to give out.
That sounds great. Yeah.
Yep.
Good
Very,
idea.
very good. Very good. We all good with authorizing some spending of city money for this? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's unanimous, Liz.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is that all we have this evening?
It is.
Okay. I move we close the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you all. All have a good evening.
Thank you.